So yeah, don't forget to npm install. So what's the lab? Let's check it out. We're supposed to make, it doesn't necessarily have to look like this, but it's supposed to be structured like this, where we have one big component around the outside that just has a heading in it. And then we have two components inside of that component, where this component has a search bar and another filter option. And then this component displays a bunch of this other component that we're going to make. So we have I'm going to call this like our list item component. So this green component is just going to have a bunch of list item components in it. And we're going to try to hopefully pass the right props in there so that they can say different things like football and baseball and all that stuff. And then more specifically, we want to display all the items of the same category together under a heading that says the name of the category. And then the search bar obviously should do what a search bar should do. So let's see if it's finished. Running, and let's go and delete that annoying default stuff. Hey, look, it gave me JSX files this time. Must have updated the package. Okay, and what? It's supposed to have a heading that says Iron Store. Okay. Welcome to Iron Store. Okay. And so let's see. We have a list in this data.json file. And it's just an object with an array. Actually, it's an object, and in there it has a key called data, and that's an array. And it has a bunch of objects in it, and they all have category, price, stocked, and name. And so we are going to show the name and the price, and we're going to use the category to group them together, and we're going to use stock to filter them sometimes. So, and the thing is that we want to have, we're gonna start by just having the state all the way at the top. So we could theoretically have the state in this green component where we import all the data directly there, and then we could use that to display the list. But then when we try to make the search bar work, we're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to communicate if the state is inside the green one. So if I do it that way, it's going to take forever. So I'm just going to start by just keeping the state all the way at the top, and then we can pass it down to both of these components through props. So in app.js, let's get a constructor. And then in there, don't forget props, super props. This.state equals, and we're gonna import, and we can call it whatever we want. Call it list from data.json. And remember, that thing is an object, and there's a key in it called data. So I'm going to be like this dot state items colon list dot data. And let's just console log this dot state in the render function so we can see. So this dot state, here's the object. This dot state dot items is an array of our things. So now we got to make this this other component that we're going to pass that into. So I'll call that table component. So here, make a new folder, components, file, table.js, import React. And in here, we'll give table. Well, table is not going to need a state. So actually, let's do for the first time a little lesson on functional components. I guess it's probably time to do that. So you can, if you know that this thing is not going to need a state, you can make it a function instead of a class. So you can be like function table, and then just like that, I think. And in here, you don't need a render function. You just return stuff. And like this is table. I think I'm missing something. Hold on. Okay, well, I don't know. We'll save that for later. I don't know. I forget it. Class, table. Okay, so then we got to import table from dot slash components slash table. And we got to show the table component. Okay. And so table is going to, oh, actually, yeah, sorry. That's probably why it wasn't showing up. You just can function table. Okay, cool. And so the main difference between the a functional component and and a class component that you need to worry about when you're writing stuff is instead of saying this dot props, you just say props because you pass these props in as an argument, and then in here, if I want to like console log props, if I console log this dot props, it's nothing, doesn't exist. It's like what? This dot props. But props is all good, except I have no props right now. They're empty. So I'm going to pass in app.js here. I'm going to pass in that list of stuff. So I'm going to just, I guess I could call it list, or I guess maybe I should call it something else so we can see when it changes the name. So here I'll call it all items. Okay, and then in the table component, props.allItems is all the items. So then here, I'm gonna still make another function out here to show it because I feel like that's more organized. So in a functional component, if you want to make a function inside of there, you got to be like const show items equals function, and return this dot state dot props dot all items dot map. And then we need to now make a component to show our items. So for now, I'll just put them in a little div that shows item. That'll be like item.name. And here we'll say we'll have a div, and then that we'll have, for now we'll just say item h2. And then we got our items. And we got our key error, and obviously we should do the easy fix is just key equals I. Okay, so I think they are already coincidentally in order. They're grouped together by category, just like coincidentally already. But we can mess it up, and then we'll try to order it correctly anyway. So yeah, let's just screw these up a little bit. There we go. What? Oh, I probably comma. All right. There we go. Okay. So I guess, should we do that first? Yeah, let's do that first. Let's group them together by category. So I guess it's going to be in our show items function. So how should we do it? Who has a strategy? What was your strategy? Sort them by the category? That's pretty straightforward. Yeah. So, okay. I guess that totally works. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. So all we have to do is be like, okay, we're not going to return this dot all items dot map. We're going to return this dot all items dot sort something 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 dot map. So let's just save this dot map for later and be like, let's do prop.allItems dot sort. And for sort, I always do a comma b, and then in here, if something, return 1, else if something else, return -1, else return 0. And in the if, I'll say if a dot category greater than b dot category, and in the else if, I'll say the opposite thing. Okay, and then I'll just put that dot map back on there. We can clean this up probably a little bit. There's a lot of curly braces, but for now, whatever. It's all good. It's a long story, but it's pretty easy to read, I guess. So, yeah, they are back in order, and if we switch the -1 and the 1, it'll be, right now the electronics is at the top and the sporting goods is at the bottom, and if we switch the -1 and the 1, then now the sporting goods are on the top, and so now we know how to switch it if we want to switch it. Is that part of the thing? Switching it? I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, yeah, let's read this. So we are already showing them by category. I guess we have to then add the actual category as a heading there. So let's see how we can do that. So right now in show items, we're showing all of them all together. Yes, because it doesn't need a state. So we haven't really used them yet before, but I figured today's a good enough day to start doing it. If you know that you don't need a state in that component, then you can just make it a function. Yeah, if you know you don't need a state, then you don't need to be a class component. Okay. So anybody have a good strategy for this part? Showing the actual, right now mine just shows them. It shows them in order of the category, but it doesn't show the category name. So we want it to be like this, where it's like shows sporting goods and the sporting goods and electronics like this. So we got them sorted, but I want to say the actual category name. See, wait, tell me more. You think we should need to add a property to each object? What? Oh, okay. I think the easiest way, because I don't want to do CSS because I like JavaScript. So I want to have two lists. I'm going to make I want to have two lists. I want to have a list that is the ones for one category, and then another list that's the ones for the other category. So I'll be like because here we're returning one. We're returning one array, but I want to get two arrays. So what I want to do is just this. Instead of sort, I want to do filter. And then let's just remake this function. So that was a very nice sort function, but goodbye. And we're gonna each item. And so I want show items to take an argument now. It's going to be a function that shows the items of only one category. So we just straight up filter them and say return each item dot category equals category, that thing. Maybe I can call it the category to get more explicit. And then that's what we map. So then if I put something here, I have to actually pass something as an argument. I have to, so I gotta be like show items, you know, is it capital? Electronics. If I say electronics, now we're showing, are we showing just the electronics? Oh, sorry. That should be that. There we go. So now we're just showing the electronics. So now I need a function, I just need a second function to loop through the categories and just call the show items function one time for each category. Easy, easy peasy, right? So, so I'm going to rename this function. Show one category. Show one category. And now we're going to make a new function called show items. Const show items equals a function that what it does is it loops through. What does it loop through? Well, first, wait, what? Oh, thanks. But so what I need this thing to loop through the array of categories, but we don't have an array of categories. So first thing I got to do is make an array of categories. So I got to be like const array of categories equals, and I guess we'll do what? What will we do? Let's see. We're gonna. It's kind of like a map filter thing, where we're gonna loop through the props.items or props.allItems, and we want to return fewer things than the original, which is like filter, but then we want to change the thing because we only want the category. So it's like map. So I know the fancy people in Code Wars usually do a reduce function for this. So I'm going to try to do reduce, and then if I fail, I'm going to do like a map filter thing. I'm going to go props.allItems.reduce. And here I know that we got to do this as the no, this is what it's going to return an array of. And actually, I don't know how to do this. I'm going to do the map filter thing. Actually, you know what? You know what's probably the easiest thing? This is probably time for each. Const cats equals empty array. Each item, all we do is cats.push each item.category. Simple. Okay. So then we just need to loop through cats. And so show items is going to return cats.map, where we return show one category, parentheses, each cat. Okay. And then let's see what happens when we call that here. Show items. Show items. No, it works. Cool. Oh, whoa. Oh. Okay. If cats, it's pushing the category in every time. So this cats thing here is not an array of two categories. It's an array of two categories like over and over and over again. So then it's just like, so then the loop runs many times. So it's working just like a bunch of times. Yeah, we just got to check if it's in there. Yeah, if cats dot includes each item dot category, but then we say if it doesn't include, then do that thing. Do that. Okay. It works. Yay! So then the thing I need to do here is we're not just going to return. We're here. Yeah, here. Wait. Show one category each cat. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Show one category. We just need to return a. What do we need to do? Hold on. In show items, cats.map, we need to return show one category, but we're going to actually return a div here that calls this function, but above it, it has an h2 that just says each cat. There we go. Oh, we need to return that. Return all that. I don't know what happened to my return. Yay, it works. Okay, cool. It may not be as aesthetically pleasing as this example, but that's just CSS. That's just some time. We just need to spend some time on CSS to make that happen. So now we need to make it filterable, right? With this other component though. And so remember, we got told how we want the structure to be, which is that we want this search thing to be in a separate component, not inside the table, but inside app.js or app component. So here, let's make another component first of all. Component file search.js. Here, import React from React. And this one we do need a state because it's going to have a form, and we need a state to keep track of what's being typed in the form. So class search. Call it search bar. Class search bar extends React. It's actually, I'm oversimplifying it. It's totally possible actually to have a state in a functional component, but for right now, I don't know, the simplest way that I can have to think about it is that it's better to have a class if you're going to have a state. So, and it's overall, it's a little bit faster and lighter on the computer to have a functional component. So if you can have a functional component, you should. So. Okay. And this state, all we really need for this thing state is search term to start out as this nothing. Oh, sorry. And this thing is gonna have a render function, which is gonna return a div that's gonna have an input, and the input type equals text, and name is gonna be surge term, and we're gonna need an onChange function for that. OnChange equals this dot update input, and right now I only have one input, so I could make a function that could take only that input. Yeah, let's do that for now. Why not? And then if we need to change it, then we need to change it. I know I'm going to need that checkbox thing, so I probably am going to need to change it, but whatever. Update input. And what we do is we say this dot set state surge term colon e dot target dot value. And so let's render that thing on app.js. Import search bar, right? It's called search bar from Oh, forgot. I did the thing. I didn't do the thing. Super props. Okay. It's not beautiful, but. And I can, so let's, if I console log this dot state in the render function of the search bar thing, when I start, where's that? Table 32. Again, I gotta do this. Okay, so if I start typing stuff in, football, then this dot state dot search term is the football. But that doesn't help me much because in here, I don't have the array of stuff to filter. I don't have anything here to filter. So what I need to do is I'm going to make a function in app.js, and I'm going to pass that function through here is props. So here, I'm going to make a function called, what should we call it? Refine item list. And this thing is obviously going to need to take an argument because it's going to need to search based on any search term. So we're going to need to say, call it, what should we call it? The argument. Let's call it query. And what this thing does is we go, okay, let clone equal this dot state dot items, and then we're gonna filter the clone. Yeah, we're gonna filter it. So let's say newest equal filter. And so, what is this thing supposed to? How's this search supposed to work? Is it for just for the name? Okay, so if the thing's name includes the substring that you're typing in, then we're gonna show it. So, in other words, BA should show basketball and baseball. Okay, cool. So each thing, and we're gonna return each thing dot name dot to uppercase because we want this to be case non-sensitive. That includes query dot to uppercase. So theoretically, now we have the function that could filter the list, but we need to be able to do it from inside the search component. So in here, I'm gonna pass in a prop called do the search, and it's equal to this dot refine item list. And then in the search component, on update input, we're gonna set the state as the new search thing, and then we're also gonna call this dot props dot what I call it, do the search with this dot state dot search term. Or it's gonna explode. Let's see. What's the deal? Okay. Okay, so it doesn't appear to be working. So let's see where we went wrong. In here, this dot props dot do the search. Let's see if we're getting here. Console log. Yep, this is happening. Okay, we're getting there. So let's go in. Let's go into this function that I think I'm calling, which is do this dot props dot do the search, which is in app.js, which is this thing. Let's see if that's happening. Console log, this is happening. And then let's also console log the query. Okay, well, that's good, good sign. That's happening. And we have the right query. So then what? What's the deal then? Oh, yeah, obviously. Forgot to do this dot set state items colon new list. Well, let's see. where we're going wrong. Let's console log. Let's console log new list there. Oh yeah, wait, they all have B. Oh, they all have A too. Okay, sorry. I just thought it wasn't working. I don't know why. It totally is working. Okay, but it's not working when I backspace. That's what's not working. So if I do, IP, I get all the iPod stuff, but it doesn't refill when I backspace. So all I needs to do is do the thing where I have the two lists, and then I have the one that always stays full, and then the other one gets changed, but the one that's the big list never changes. So we'll leave that one as items, and we'll have visible items also equaling to list dot data in the beginning, and then the thing, where? Oh, okay, yeah. What we pass into the table is this dot state dot visible items, which right now makes no difference. But then what we do is we always make a clone of this, and what we change is visible items. But the thing that we clone here stays as the big list of all the items, so that the big list of all the items never gets anything deleted out of it. So every time that we go in there to refine it, we're refining from the big list instead of the already refined small list. Anywhere. Includes just searches for the substring. Okay, so BASK backspace. Yay. And since we are looping through the array of category items, it just works that when, like, if we do that, the heading disappears with it, because if the full list of items doesn't have any items with the category, then the array in this table thing here, since we're filtering through them through here, the actual category never gets shown unless we have items. So that's cool. What else? Oh, we want to have the ones that are out of stock being red, and then we want to have, when we click the checky thing, that they disappear. The red ones disappear basically. Oh, are we showing the price? We're not even showing the price. Okay, well, I'll do that in a second. Okay. So let's see. That'll be in the search thing, and that means that instead of just an input, we're going to need two inputs. And this thing is going to be type equals check box. Right? That's a thing. Yeah. Okay. And then I guess we should have the label for that. We should probably have a label for this thing too. Label. Search. There we go. And then maybe we'll even put them in their own div. Okay. Oh no. Oops. And we'll have a label here. Let's say only show products in stock. Okay. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right. Oh wait, I forgot to make them red. We should make them red too. Okay, let's make them red. Let's also show the price. So in the table thing, when, where is it? It's hard to find. Here, item.name. I guess instead of just item.name, let's just have item.name and item.price. And before item.price, we'll have this. Oh no, wait, item.price already has that. Huh. Okay, cool. It's very pretty design there. And then, so then the other thing we need to do is conditionally pass in a thing that makes this thing red. So right now, we're always returning a div like this. But what we need to do is sometimes return a div like this, and sometimes return a div where style is red. And I think better than doing an if would be to have an object that is the style object, and then pass that style object into this thingy right here. So right here, in the map, before we return, I'm going to be like, let the style object equal this thing, and it's just going to be an empty object. But if item dot no item if item dot, it's called stocked, right? Yeah. If item dot stocked, then what I want to do is do the style object dot color equals red. And so then here on this thing, I pass in a style attribute that equals the style object. Except I did it the opposite way. Instead of doing it the way I need to put this thing here to do the opposite. There. So the cool thing about in React about style, the reason that it's always, you know how when we do it manually, I never really say why, but you put like a double object thing here, is because what you're doing here is like, you know, when you do color colon red like that, is you are saying to React, okay, or you're saying to JSX, okay, we're interpolating JavaScript now. That's what that outside curly brace is. So then what you're interpolating is an object that says color colon red. So if you just make that into a variable, and then you can do any kind of if thing that you want to it, and then you can just pass it in like that. Okay, so then the only thing left to do is make this thing work. And you know that I love checkboxes. So I guess we need to have another thing in the, actually I hate checkboxes, but but in React they're actually totally fine. So it's great. It's totally unlike all the other things like HTML and like HBS or whatever, where they're a total nightmare. And instead it's fine. You just put a thing on it like on click or on change or whatever, and then you just change it in the state, and it's totally fine. So show unstocked. So if we're showing all of them, that's true. But if that's false, then we're going to only show the ones in stock. So on the input checkbox thing, I forget if it's on click or if it's on change that I need to do it. So we'll try one, and then if it doesn't work, we'll try the other. So I'm going to do on click equals this dot toggle stocked. And I'm going to make that function right here. Toggle stocked equals this. And toggle stocked is just going to simply do this dot set state, and we're going to switch show unstocked to the opposite of what we used to be. So the opposite of this dot state dot show unstocked. Okay, let's see if that Oh wait, that's not going to do anything because I'm not going to know. So what I need to do is keep the console open, and I'm looking at this dot state. So let's here console log this dot state dot show on stock. So it's true right now, and if I click this, it's false. And then it's true, and then it's false. And then it's true, and then it's false. Perfect. So then, all I need to do is I need to pass in another function to this component from app.js. So I need to go into app.js and make a function here to decide to filter it by stocked or unstocked. And how do I know that I need to do it in app.js? Because I don't have the list of items here in search bar. I can't filter through a list that I don't have. So all you can do, that's not a problem though. If that happens, that's fine. That's good. That means that you've lifted your state up to really high and that you have good organization. So all I need to do is go up here, and then this is where I actually have the list of items. And so I just need to make a function here, and then it's as simple as passing it through props right here. So I'll call it toggle showing unstocked. And here we will, it's going to have to take an argument, I guess. So yeah, should we is the argument. And it's going to be like, actually, wait, let's make it we should. If we should. Because then we can say, if we should, then I need to do a whole clone thing and then filter my list and then return a new one. So if we should, but only if we should, because wait. No, I'm going to need to do it either way, because if we should, then we're going to need to filter it, and then if we shouldn't, then we're going to need to unfilter it, basically. So I'm going to make the clone out here. Let clone equal this dot state dot, and we're going to do it of all. Oh no, actually, yeah. Since we're doing it with all the items, then we can just do it all inside the if. And then that saves us a little bit of processing power, because then we're only filtering if we need to. So if we should, then let's do the whole thing where we clone, and then we do let filtered equal clone.filter. Return each item dot stocked. And then this dot set state. And we set visible items to filtered. And so then we just need to be able to call this function. So I'm going to pass it in through here. So right now we have one prop on here called do the search, and then let's make another prop on here called filter unstocked. And that's going to be equal to this function up here. Oh, right. Thank you. Jeez. It yells at me. Okay. So then in here, wait, what do I call it? Filter unstock. Let's copy that. Okay. In here, I need to, when I do toggle stocks, I'm going to do this dot set state like that, and then I'm going to make a callback function, and then I'm going to do this dot props dot this thing with this dot state dot show unstock. And I might have mismatched it. No? Okay. Oh, it doesn't do anything. Wait, oh, it does now. Wait, what? Huh. What's happening there? Oh, maybe. It's probably obvious. Let's see. I mean, it's probably getting called every time. Let's see. Let's see if it's getting called every time. I guess that's the first thing to check. Console log. Yep, it's happening. Yep, it's happening. Yep, it's happening. Okay. And let's console log whether we should or not. Okay, there's where we're going wrong. What if we just pass in the... Oh, because we're passing in show unstocked. Man, this true false thing. We're passing in show unstocked, which is like whether we should show all of them or not. And so we need to, and then over here we called it, here if it's true, we show all of them, but here if it's false, we show all of them. So we just need to pass in the opposite of that, hopefully. Yeah. No. Okay. Almost though. So it's true. And then, so that's good. So that means that there's just something wrong with this, no, with this function. It's getting all the right information. But what? I don't know. When it gets true, it filters them. But when it gets false, it does nothing, which I guess is the problem, because if it does nothing, then nothing happens. So we do need it to do something even if we shouldn't. So we should just do this. Each item bracket, we should. And then we should take this if away. Ooh. Wait, how did I have it before? Oh, right. We need to do each item that's stock equals we should. And take away this if. Oh. Now I'm only showing the ones that are out of stock when I get false. Okay. So if we need to filter them by that, then we'll just do... I'm trying to avoid writing this whole filter function twice in an if-else. That's what I'm trying to avoid here. So if I can't think of a fancy way to do that, that's what I'm going to end up doing for now. Okay, well, I guess we can just do an if-else in here. And we can just say, if we should return that, else return true. Okay, that works. That's not the most elegant thing, but it's okay. It's fine. It's not that bad. I was trying to avoid writing the whole filter function twice, so that's why I avoided that. So, and you can be fancy and take away the curly braces if you really want with this if, since it's one line things. Like if this thing that we want to do is one line, you can take away the curly braces. Should still work. And then what if we put in, what does basketball and iPhone X have in common? Anything? Whatever. Let's just do that. See if it works. Like, oh no, see, haha. So that doesn't work. And the reason is because when we do this thing, it doesn't take into account what's already in the filtery, the search bar thing. So needs to take it into account. So instead of cloning this.state.items, we just clone this.state.visibleItems. But then, is that going to work? No. What do we do? What do we do? Let's see. This one's kind of hard. Okay. Needs to take into account both of those things. So we need to know this. Actually, what we need to do, obviously, is why do we have two separate functions handling the one? If we wanted to take into account the search bar and also the checkbox, then there's no reason we should have two separate functions, one doing the search bar and one doing the checkbox. We should have one function that does both. So what we're going to do is take these and put them into one. So where I have to do the search, we're going to take away this thing. We don't need to do that. We're going to put them, condense them both into do the search. And so what will we do? Let's see. We're going to need to take two arguments. So we're going to need query and show unstocked. And then we clone all the items, and then we filter them by their name, having all those things. And then long before we set the state, we're gonna do this whole thing where we return item.stocked or not. But we're just gonna have one thing like here. So like this. And we'll change. We called it. We should was very nice and fancy at that point in time, but I'm going to change the name to show unstocked now to be more clear. Okay, is that a function? Do I have a bunch of syntax errors? Probably. Oh, I just have that. Okay. So refine item list needs to get a search term and also a true/false value for show unstocked. And then we clone the whole list of items, and then we filter each thing by having the search term, and then we filter again. That seemed probably like too many filters. So let's just combine these two filters into one. So we'll just have this same if thing, but the else will be like return each item.stocked and this thing. Otherwise, just return that thing, the search thing. And so here, then we'll so yeah, okay, that's pretty good. So if we can get the search term and also the true/false value in there, then we should be able to check if it's stocked, if we should show unstocked, if we should show, oh wait, it's the opposite again. I did it the opposite again. Okay, just take that out of here. No. Okay, there we go. That. If we should show in stock, then just do the search by the filter, by the search term, and then if else, then we should search by the search term and also by whether or not it's in stock. So, in here, we need to do what? Let's see. How do we get both of those things in there? Oh, easy. We can keep these with two separate functions. It's just that right now there's no such thing as this.props.filter on stock. It's called this.props.do the search. But in both of these situations, we need to pass in two arguments. We need to pass in the search term, and then we also have to pass in this. So both times, just pass them both in. Okay. See if that, oh no. Each item. What? Oh, it's called each thing. Oops. Okay. That's fine. Alright, let's see. Does it work? Okay, that works. That works. Wow, amazing. Okay. 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 I think that's it, right? That's it. Yeah, and well, you're supposed to make it look, not like this. But in general, as a general rule of life, nothing should ever look like this. But it works. So let's